hasn't even been a month and our boy Dream has got himself into yet another piece of controversy. Now, you might be sitting at home asking yourself, what in the world could this man have done that warrants so much criticism and so much backlash? Well, it's pretty simple. A couple of days ago, Dream and a couple of his friends decided to sell some plushies that were based on the branding of their channels. Now, that by itself doesn't actually bother me. It's a great way to financially support a creator that you think is deserving or that you really enjoy. And if you really like collecting things, then I think buying plushies is a pretty good outlet for it. However, there's a big problem I have in the case of Dream. For whatever reason, these things were so fucking expensive. The Dream plushie by itself was $100, and if for some reason you decide to get the bundle, that would set you back almost $300. Considering how uninteresting the plushies are compared to the other ones that are out there, this is a ripoff. Fuck feeding my family with my minimum wage paycheck. I'm gonna give all of it to a multi-millionaire man baby in exchange for something I'm most likely gonna mistake as a cum rag later on. Now, I know that when other YouTubers like the Hermit Crafters sold their own plushies, they weren't exactly cheap either, but I would argue that if you bought a plushie from the Hermits, you were getting a much better deal, because first off, it looked like there was actual thought and effort put into the plushies, and they actually look good, and second off, the Hermits are actually respectable and likable people with genuine audiences, meaning you would actually feel good about buying that plushie in the first place. Now, compare that to someone like Dream, whose plushie is underperforming in the looks department, and also is very unreasonably priced. Like, maybe I live under a rock or something, but I have never seen a product with shipping and taxing in the double digits, and the high double digits at that. Like, why is it so expensive? I know I'm dwelling a lot on the economics here, but that's just nuts to me. That's absolutely fucking nuts to me. But what's also fucking nuts to me is the response that this got on Twitter. I know that Twitter and reason/logic don't exactly mix, like they don't go together at all, but for some reason in this Twitter thread, they did. Don't get me wrong, there were still quite a few people who were sucking Dream's cock and were all, I made the purchase, I made the purchase, do you love me now, daddy? There were still a lot of people who were calling out Dream for selling something that was that shit and that overpriced, which, I gotta be honest, is pretty respectable given how much of a cesspool Twitter has become recently. However, my favorite reply by far in this entire Twitter thread was from a shitposter, a literal shitposter, who made the very basic but very logical argument of not every 13-year-old has $100 lying around. And seeing as 13-year-olds are what make up most of Dream's audience, that's a very valid point to bring to the table. And because Dream can't handle criticism, even from a shit poster, he decided to tweet back a chart that showed the average age range of his audience on YouTube, and the chart shows that most of his audience is apparently 18 to 24 years old. Immediately after this, context was added underneath the tweet that stated that relying on YouTube analytics alone may not give an accurate picture of a creator's viewer age, which fucking obviously that's going to be the case. Like, I'm guilty of this myself when I was younger. Every single kid has done it at some point or another. The man really must have hit his head as a kid if he really thought that YouTube analytics would be a helpful tool for winning this argument that didn't even need to be started in the first place. That's the whole thing. This whole argument could have been avoided if Dream just ignored it like a sensible human being, but he couldn't even do that. In conclusion, Dream is a fat pussy with thin skin and his plushie was stupid. Goodbye.